Hi friends, I want to take a minute to address a lot of things going on right now. Today's episode is all about responses and how we respond to the things around us, so that's what I'd like to do. Sadly, last week, we saw another example of extreme injustice here in the US. I don't believe in doing things that hurt other people, so I'm going to lay down some rules today for the poetry workshop and for my life in general. And I hope you'll think about these and maybe write your own. All poets will be seen, heard, respected, protected, and celebrated. And this is key. We are all poets. To be clear, when I say we are all poets, I don't care about the color of your skin or your hair or the way you talk or the way you dress or who you love or what you can't do, how you dance, or how bad your handwriting is. You are a poet, and you deserve the same treatment as everybody else. So, these are now the rules of the poetry workshop. I hope that you'll think about these. Think about the rules that are important to you and how you'd like to be treated, and maybe make your own rules. So with that said, I'm going to put this up on the wall. Today's episode was filmed before, so you might not see it in the episode today, but trust me, that's on the wall from now on. Okay, let's get started. Hi friends, I'm Phil, and I'm a poet just like you. A lot of times, we think about poetry as something that we make alone. We sit alone in a room, and we pour out our feelings alone onto a piece of paper, where the ideas live by themselves, all alone. Someone else gets to read it, but it's very one-directional. But I want to think about that for a second. What does it take to make a poem? Notebook or paper? I didn't make it. First, a tree had to grow. Then someone had to cut the tree and plant another one. Someone else had to turn it into paper, and then other people had to bring it to me so I could actually write on it. And what about the pencil? Someone else had to chop a different tree down, dig for the graphite, for the lead, and someone else had to do, I don't know, whatever you do to get eraser stuff. But now I've got my paper and I've got my pencil and it's time to write a poem. So I write letters. What's a letter? I didn't make these things up. I call it O, because that's what it looks like. And then a lot of other people had to teach me all of these letters and the words they make up and the meanings of the words and the sounds they make. And trust me, that wasn't always easy. My point is that everything we make, do, eat, read, watch, play, say, or even think is building on something that someone else or a lot of other people have done. One good phrase for this you might hear is, "We stand on the shoulders of giants." Thanks!
No problem.
Just like the tools of poetry and everything come to us from someone or somewhere else, the language we use and even the ideas we have are the same way. That's not to say that what we do isn't original to us, just that what we do is almost always a response to something else. Just like this show is a response to all the amazing poems that you write. Oh yeah, the show. We should totally get that started. It's time for a particularly responsible episode of Poet Show It. I'm a poet. You're 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 a poet. So come and show it. You're a poet. So if everything we do is a response to something, we're all part of a giant chain reaction of stuff and ideas and language and feeling. So how do we know where we fit in? Or even better, where we stand out? That is where our choices come in. Everything we do is a response to something. But how we respond, how we link up in the giant chain reaction, that's up to us. We can respond with kindness or anger if our brother messes something up. Patrick! We can respond with bravery or fear when something scares us. Like the giant that keeps startling us.
I said I was sorry.
Mm-hmm. And the ways we respond show the world who we are, what we're made of. In today's episode, we're going to look at some poems that do an awesome job of responding, either to another poem, or to each other, or even kind of to themselves inside the same poem. All of our poets today are from Lake Orion Community Schools in Lake Orion, Michigan. Huge thanks to the poets there for sending in so many amazing poems. So let's get started. Poem number 1. If You Give a Mouse a Bed by Nikita. Nikita is in Ms. Perkins' class at Paint Creek Elementary. While we're talking about all kinds of responses today, our first poem is considered a conversation poem, which is a poem that responds directly to another author or another poet's work. Often, a conversation poem may use the same rhyme scheme or meter or structure, or maybe just be a response to what the other poem is saying. Nikita's poem is a response to the classic children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie by Laura Numeroff. You've probably read it before, but if you haven't, definitely check it out. But let's see Nikita's poem. When you give a mouse a bed, he's going to ask for a blanket. When you give the mouse a blanket, he's going to ask for a pillow. When you give the mouse the pillow, he will ask for some pajamas. When you give the mouse pajamas, he's going to ask for a teddy bear. When you give the mouse a teddy bear, he's going to go to sleep. Awesome poem. If you haven't read If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, I think you still get the idea. The story is a slippery slope, which is a type of story or argument that makes the case that if you allow one thing to happen, it's going to start a chain reaction of lots of other things happening. Nikita does a great job of following the slippery slope in a way that makes sense. And she also has some fun alliteration in there too. Bed to blanket to pillow to pajamas. I also love that she finally puts an end to the concern of the mouse asking for too much. She really goes down the list of things you need to sleep and then goes, the mouse is all good. It's a twist on the normal slippery slope argument, where the person making it is often trying to prove that one small concession will lead to a chain reaction of catastrophic consequences. This is a wonderful response poem, Nikita. I assume you love the book If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, since a well-made response poem is one of the nicest things we can do to show our appreciation for something that we enjoy. Thank you for sharing it with us. Poem number 2, Silly Fruit by Kylie. Kylie is in Ms. Rao's class at Weber Elementary. And poem number 3, Robot Boy by Ethan. Ethan is in Mrs. Burke's class at Weber Elementary. You weren't expecting 2 at once, were you? Well, a super fun way to write response poems is to actually write with a friend and write 2 different poems that respond to each other, or even 2 halves of the same poem. I have a feeling that Kylie and Ethan know each other. And what they did was sit down and write poems while sharing a lot of ideas about how the poems should go. But they still went in different, hilarious directions. Silly Fruit. Apples are red. Berries are blue. I just don't want you to eat them out of your shoe. Clearly, Kylie's poem is a response to Roses Are Red. She doesn't talk about roses, but she still picks something that is red. So we all know right away where she got her inspiration from. And then she gets really silly. And I've got to say, I do appreciate the concern for my health and choice of food delivery receptacle. I don't want to eat them out of a shoe either. Then Ethan comes in strong. Robot Boy. Cherries are red. Pickles are green. I like to talk like a robot machine. Again, he chooses to start with something red, just like Kylie. Then he moves to pickles to get the green rhyme going. And then he puts the rest of the onus on the reader to do their best robot impersonation. I hope I didn't disappoint. Kylie and Ethan's poems are both responses to Roses Are Red and to each other. And they're an awesome example of both. I think it's great they decided to sit down to write poems together. And that can be a really fun way to write poetry sometimes. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Actually, You want to take this one?
Really?
Yeah.
Poem number 4.
Cupcake by Leah. Leah's in Ms. Price's class at Stadium Drive Elementary. So we've seen some awesome examples of how we can respond to another book or another poem we like, how we can sit and write with a friend and respond to each other. But what about responding inside of a poem? Leah does a fantastic job of that in her poem, Cupcake. When are they coming? I'm going to get eaten first. No, 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 that's not right. I think they're coming. I think they're coming. I hope I'll get eaten first. No, 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 that is not right. I will. No, I will. No, 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 no. My turn. I have a good idea. What? Wait, what is it? I want to know. No, 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 no fair. Punch. Ouch. 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 What? Bye. Where are you? I'm up here. Bye. Where? Bye. Oh, look. I get the daddy. Whoa, we have got a lot going on here. First off, when I read the poem title Cupcake, I was pretty sure it was going to be about someone who loves cupcakes. But really quickly, in the second line, I'm going to get eaten first, you realize that you're hearing a poem from the point of view of a cupcake. Then, in the next line, someone disagrees with a cupcake. No, that's not right. And you realize you're hearing a poem from the point of view of multiple different cupcakes all fighting with each other to get eaten. That is an awesome, hilarious point of view. I don't know if this is what Leah was thinking, but I like to imagine this poem all taking place behind the plate glass display in a bakery. And then one of the cupcakes has an idea. Ooh, I have a good idea. And the other's like, wait, what is it? And I like to think that cupcake climbed up a shelf, was chosen and purchased by the family that was in the bakery, right? It's like, wait, bye, I'm up here, bye. Oh, look, I get the daddy. So the dad of the family purchased the cupcake. And because that cupcake was smart enough to get out of the scuffle below and up above, he got chosen. This poem cracks me up. First of all, it's a crazy point of view, which is so fun. But also, we're talking about responses. This poem has about as many responses as you can have. I mean, there's like 20 cupcakes all sitting there yelling at each other. No, that's not right. I'm gonna get eaten. No, I'm gonna get eaten. It's a really good poem to show the power of response, especially to build energy or conflict. We don't often think about cupcakes being in conflict, but Leah got to share something very original and very funny with us. Thanks, Leah. And thank you for hanging out with me and for the incredible response to the show so far. I love reading all of your amazing poems and sharing them with the world. Our poets today showed us how to respond to another poem or book that we like, how to write with a friend to make response poems together, and how to use responses and conflict to raise the stakes and give a poem a lot of energy. Plus, I don't think I'll ever look at a cupcake quite the same way again. I hope you'll find some time to write your own poems, whether they are a response to another poem or to anything else. And if you do, and you'd like to share them with me, and maybe see them on this show, get your parents' help to go to poetshowit.com to submit. From the Poetry Workshop, my name is Phil. I'll see you next time, and until then, keep writing.